If you're thinking about making a move here in the Inland Empire in 2026, well, obviously the first big question you need to be asking is, where in the Inland Empire should you actually be looking? Because believe me, not all IE neighborhoods are the same. And in fact, actually some are seeing way more buyer demand than others. So in this video, I'm going to do this. I'm going to break down the top 6 Inland Empire neighborhoods that buyers are targeting this year in 2026, why the demand is so strong in each one, which neighborhood best fits for who, and of course, what are the trade-offs that you do need to be aware of before making a move. I actually made this video because one of the biggest mistakes that I do see many buyers making is choosing a neighborhood based only on the price of the home, which obviously price is important. I mean, it's, let's be real, but based only on the price of the home, or just buying the biggest home they can afford. But the bottom line is not taking everything into consideration, such as the lifestyle, or the commute, or potential future resale value, or just how does the area feel from day to day. So looking at the first one on this list, and this one just might be the clearest case of high momentum market here in the Inland Empire, and that is Ontario Ranch, which is located on the far south end of Ontario. But make no mistake, Ontario Ranch has really exploded in popularity over the last few years. Tons of newer homes that have recently been built here with modern layouts that many of today's buyers are looking for. And because it is such a newer area, there's newer schools here, newer shopping centers here, just newer overall infrastructure here. In fact, they're still building and adding to the local infrastructure. And for buyers that are coming from outside the area, especially like Orange County or LA County, I mean, Ontario Ranch continues to really remain pretty affordable, especially if you're going to compare it to those areas. But all of this leads to some of the biggest reasons why the demand continues to remain strong here in Ontario Ranch. The trade-offs, though, there are higher taxes and Melrose in some parts of the area. And again, because there is growing and developing going on here, there's still a lot of construction. And for some buyers, they may not like that. They may not like the fact that there's still construction going on or developing. I mean, they may not really like that aspect of the area. But just from an overall buyer momentum location here for the Inland Empire in 2026, yeah, Ontario Ranch, it definitely belongs near the top of the list. Hey, real quick, before we do get to the next 5, if this is your first time here, my name's Jose and I am your SoCal Realtor. Here we help Inland Empire homeowners sell smart, buy their next home better, and ultimately move with confidence. So if that is you, if you are thinking about making a move, don't hesitate to reach out. My contact information, that is below. We help people just like you every single day. But enough about that. Let's go ahead and get back to it. Number 2 is Rancho Cucamonga, especially the areas of Etiwanda and Terra Vista. This one's been pretty high on the want list for a while now. And from what I've seen, many buyers, they really love the neighborhoods that are here, the foothill setting. I mean, that really is quite a view, especially in the winter when the snow comes down, kind of lands on the mountains. It really is a very beautiful view. But also the restaurants and shopping that are here, a lot of those you're going to find at the ever popular Victoria Gardens Mall that's here. There's also the schools, which according to many independent school ratings are some of the better rated schools here in the Inland Empire, as well as just the overall general location of the city for commuting. I mean, if you have to commute to LA, Orange County, or anything like that, I mean, you have tons of great freeway access, as well as actually the Metrolink has a station right here. Rancho also has something else that I do find a lot of buyers want right now, and that is, it feels very established. Sometimes some newer communities, they kind of can have that under construction feel to them, kind of like we were talking about with Ontario Ranch. I mean, it kind of can have that feel to them. And before you say anything, yes, there are some new builds that are going up here in Rancho Cucamonga, but just as a whole, generally speaking, the city of Rancho Cucamonga does have more of a mature, finished, already ready. Sounding, I don't know, sorry, an already ready atmosphere for most buyers. And if you do look toward the north half of the city of Rancho Cucamonga, kind of like from the 210 freeway and up, that's actually a really popular area for a lot of move-up or step-up buyers. And in fact, actually, a lot of relocation buyers too, especially those that are coming in from LA, Orange County, That's a real popular area for those. The downside, though, is affordability. Sure, once upon a time it used to be. I mean, but today, not so much. I mean, it definitely is not a cheap market. In fact, especially if you look at the north side, like what I was just talking about a second ago, I mean, that even less so. But when you look at some of the pockets, some of the more desirable pockets here within Rancho Cucamonga, the competition for some of those homes, some of the nicer homes, it can still be a little, it can sometimes be a little up there. I would definitely say that Rancho Cucamonga is definitely not a rapid growth market, but really more of a premium demand market. Eastvale is another one that's really seen a lot of demand, especially for move-up buyers. Based on many of the conversations that I've had with home buyers, I mean, Eastvale might just be one of the clearest examples of what people they see or envision when they're thinking of the suburban upgrade. I mean, you have many bigger homes, newer neighborhoods, strong school reputation. I've had quite a few buyers now that have moved from or planning to move from smaller Inland Empire homes tell me, Jose, we see Eastvale as the logical next step forward for us and our family. And because many of the homes here are newer and do have newer amenities, I've had many buyers tell me that, Jose, we like that. We like being able to go in without having to worry about doing any kind of updates or upgrades or anything like that anytime soon. Now, another thing that really does help make Eastvale pretty attractive is the fact that for many buyers, I found that they really like its general location. It's pretty well centralized, meaning they're able to take advantage of Inland Empire home prices. But if you have to commute to the OC for work or family or just activities or whatever it is, I mean, you're pretty close and you have relatively easy access for that. The trade-offs, though, the pricing in Eastvale has gone up quite a bit in the last few years. And because of that, I found that some buyers that were looking Eastvale really wanted Eastvale. And for them, they kind of started doing the whole, hey, what about Ontario Ranch? Should we look over here? Because I mean, they are right next door to each other. Even with that, though, the numbers do continue to show that the Eastvale continues to be a very popular market for move-up buyers, especially here in the Inland Empire. Now, South Redlands is another very popular one right now, but it is very different from the other ones on this list. And from what I've seen, that's actually exactly why so many buyers that do move here love it. Yeah, South Redlands typically attracts buyers that are not so much focused on, we want the newest house, but more so they're looking for, I'm going to say they're looking more for the neighborhood that provides character and lifestyle. Because here, I mean, you have beautifully mature tree-lined streets here, established neighborhoods, just the general location or proximity to the mountains here. I mean, you're practically at the base of both Big Bear and Lake Arrowhead. Pockets of walkability, older historic charm. I mean, you get a very different feel or vibe when compared to many newer tract home communities. Not to say that tract home communities are necessarily bad, it's just that if that's not what you're looking for, well then, I mean, South Redlands, it definitely is the opposite. Of course, the trade-off is that, number one, I mean, the inventory here, it tends to stay pretty tight. There's not generally a lot of homes available for sale here in South Redlands, so the options do tend to be kind of limited. Also, they are older homes, so you do have to expect that you're not going to get newer modern layouts, floor plans, generally not the newer amenities here. So just something to keep in mind. But from the feedback that I generally get from a lot of folks in South Redlands that have moved to South Redlands, it tends to offer a very strong community feel to it, and it certainly attracts a very certain type of buyer over and over again. Hey, really curious, I just wanted to ask you this. Has there been any cities that have made the list so far that you didn't expect to hear? You're like, I wasn't expecting to hear that one. Or maybe, where's the, such and such city? I was expecting to hear that one. Do me a favor, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you might be looking at. North Fontana is another one that has been very strong in demand. And from what I've seen, there's really one main reason for that. The value here relative to some of the nearby markets. Yeah, I've had quite a few buyers that they might start their search looking at like Rancho Cucamonga or maybe even like Eastvale, and then end up realizing, hey, wait a minute, North Fontana, it oftentimes allows them the opportunity to be able to buy more home in a very comparable neighborhood and for oftentimes less money. And in some cases, a lot less money. But you do have many newer homes, many really nice homes actually that are here. In fact, there's still some new construction that's also happening here in certain pockets anyway. But for some buyers, North Fontana, it really does start to become a case of, I want newer and I want bigger. I can't justify Rancho Cucamonga pricing. And honestly, from my experience, that's why this area just continues to attract so much attention. Of course, yes, there are trade-offs here too. Some parts of North Fontana are a little newer, so they can feel a little less established than other neighborhoods in the Inland Empire. And also, this area, it is prone to feeling and experiencing some of the winds when they do come down through the Cajon Pass too. Although the eastern edge of Rancho Cucamonga, it is prone to feeling that too, in case I didn't mention that earlier. But from a pure demand standpoint, I mean, the numbers don't lie. North Fontana continues to attract a lot of buyer attention from those that are, that they want newer, they want bigger, but they don't want that Rancho Cucamonga price tag. And then you have Chino Hills. And from my experience, I do find a lot of buyers are attracted to Chino Hills because of the hills, the views, the schools, the mature upscale feel that you get here in Chino Hills, as well as the Orange County commuter access that you get here too. Yeah, it's basically a straight shot into the OC. And unlike some of the other newer communities, Chino Hills, it does have a more established feel or identity to it, but this market, it does typically tend to attract more of not necessarily always, but typically it does tend to attract more of the equity-rich move-up buyers. The challenge though, very similar to South Redlands, inventory. Typically speaking, there generally is not a ton of homes are available here. I mean, the inventory, it can get a little tied up. Also though, the pricing. Depending on the home itself, and some pockets maybe more than others, but it can start to get a little expensive here. From a desirability standpoint though, Chino Hills has been very high in demand though for the Inland Empire in 2026. But listen, the big takeaway though is not this. It's not that one neighborhood is necessarily better than another. It really is more about which area best fits you, which area best fits what you're looking for. That's a conversation we do have with buyers all the time, breaking down the different neighborhoods, the pros, the cons, and just which one best fits them. So if you are thinking about making a move anywhere in the Inland Empire, don't hesitate to reach out. My contact information is below. We're happy to help you map that out. Here's where things can start to get a little shaky, because if you're not just a buyer, but you're also a homeowner that needs to sell your house in order to make that move, well, if you don't have a plan to do that, a plan to be able to accomplish both, sell and buy both at the same time, things can start out, exciting, only to get very, very stressful very quickly. So if that's you, if that describes your situation, I would definitely catch this video next, right here where I break that down. I show you, I map that out for you, how to be able to do that, but also how to avoid some of the more common mistakes that many people do make. So catch you over there.